On this episode, we're installing an electric fuel pump. And we're going to remove the mechanical. So, the fuel pump that's on there is at least 42 years old that we know of, right? And we're having some issues. No. We're upgrading. So we're going to put on the Vic Auto single plane carb. We're going to put on the Vic Auto single plane manifold. We bought a new carburetor because that other carburetor's got some vacuum issues on it because it's so old it's leaking. We rebuilt it. It didn't fix the problem, so new carb. But at the same time, we're going to upgrade and put on an electronic fuel pump. So this is an off-the-shelf pump. You can buy it at any hardware or auto parts place. And what I've done is I put a piece of radiator hose around it as an insulator, and then I got a clamp and I drilled a hole in it, and so we drill a hole in the bulkhead here, and now we've got a place to mount our fuel pump. So the hose is really just for insulation, so we're not transferring a lot of noise into the frame because it's going to vibrate a little bit. Now these things are suction pumps, so you want them close to the tank. So this is fuel out. It'll go here, and then fuel in, we'll just run a hose back up to this away and tie it in here. So now we have our pump installed. We can plumb it, right? Not too bad. I didn't see this the last time, but let's not use zip ties as hose clamps. It's not a good idea. It's probably not going to work out in your favor. Especially if we're running slightly pressurized line. So we're going to fix that. Now, we got to get fuel in here and we got to get power in here. So back here, the only thing I can find with power is this to the fuel tank. All the rest of these wires are lights, and they only come on when you turn the lights on. So two options. We can run a line from there all the way back here, but then we got to pull up carpet and get it back here. So I'm going to use this one first. I know what you're saying, but wait. I'm going to put a relay on it, so we're not going to be drawing any extra voltage away. It'll just run a switch, and then the relay will do the work to power the pump. So the first thing I want to do is the wiring. I know the pump works. I checked it already. So I'm going to do the wiring, and then we'll plumb it in as we go. And I got all the original stuff is still on there. Well, let's put it this way. All of the stuff that came on the car is still on there. I haven't taken anything off yet. And we'll check pressure up at the carburetor to make sure we got good. This thing's supposed to run 2 to 4 psi. So 3 psi is what we want. So 3 psi. If it's 2 to 4, it's probably a 3. So next is the wiring. So since we're running a relay, we can take power from the battery, 12 volts. We can run a line down here and then come out and power this through the relay. I don't know where I'm going to put the relay yet, but probably outside of the battery box. So I did an episode a couple cars back with the headlight relay and the windshield washer relay, so this is no different. The relay just takes power from the battery or from constant power to supply the unit, and then the 12 volt just works a switch. So there's no draw on the switch except to turn it off and on. So when you turn the key on, this powers up, it'll power the switch, and then this thing will turn on with battery juice from the battery and run constantly. And that's what we want. So first thing is get the relay wired up, get it plugged in. We're gonna need a ground. So we'll probably come from battery side for ground as well. And then we attach our power wire. Then gotta figure out where we're gonna run our ground. I'm gonna tap, drill, and put a ground right there underneath. Seems like a good spot. So because we're grounded to the battery, we got an extra good connection here. Well, I don't know if you call it extra good, but it's good, right? Different size wires have different size things. Yeah, put my relay right here. So all of this will fit like this. Fuel will come in here, fuel goes into this here. Power is going to come over here through the relay. So there's plenty of wiring diagrams online, but you know, I'll show you. So it's kind of simple, kind of hard to mess up. But you want to keep this handy while you're doing it. So our 30 is here, and this is our battery. So this is just going to plug in. Try not to twist it too much. So our 30 just plugs in right here. Put it on the prongs, bro. There we go. And then we can shrink wrap all this stuff. And then our switch is our 86. Okay. So that's this one. And we'll shrink wrap that. And then we have to run a ground. And then we run our hot lead from here to here and here to there. And then both of those are controlled by the relay instead of the power switch. Here's what we've done. So this battery juice, switch juice, this is power lead back to where we want to go. So this is going to go on here. And then it's going to plug into this butt joint like that. So that'll power our fuel pump. Sorry, I'm having a moment. And then we need another hot lead coming over here to power our fuel sending unit, fuel level unit, right? So I think this, I'm just gonna go like so, and then I'll wire it up right here and zip tie it to this to keep all of this stuff out of the way. So this is gonna go down, and this will go down, so that about that far is fine enough. So what I want is, I'm gonna cut here. And strip and strip. And where did I put my strippers? On the floor. And then go with a red. It's pretty small. Let me take this. And then, oh shit. Let me take this. And this will plug onto here. Like that. Okay, so everything's hooked up. Grounds aren't tight. That one's tight, that one's not, but we're just gonna check it real fast. So if we take this, so now we have 3 grounds. We got battery ground to here. Compressor is whisper quiet, by the way. We have relay ground to here, and then we have fuel pump ground to here. So if we hook up battery, turn the switch on, this should run. It's on. And our fuel gauge works. I gotta get my shrink wraps shrunk and my fuel plumbed. So we're gonna disconnect battery again. Because you know, fuel and sparks aren't a good thing. We'll do some zip tying later. But first I gotta get this fuel line off. It looks like they just leaned on there. Right there. It'll be good. It'll be good. Don't worry too much about it. I don't want it like that. So this comes up. This goes on. And then this goes on. Like that. Okay. This. Okay. And then this is going to come back through here. Like that. It's not kinked, so it'll be fine. And now I have to come from here to here. So this is just some regular old 3/8 fuel line, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out again. Let's set it over here. Okay, so I lost you somewhere, but I'm gonna trim this original hose to make it shorter because it's too tight for me. So if we take this, insert it into our holder about right here. So remember, handy dandy hose cutter. Boom. I can use this for just a minute. Okay. So take this, slip it back on, and then reinsert our hose. That goes like that. We got a better fit. So this is our intake line. Now what we don't want is a big kink or anything like that. So we're going to run it around like that and then come back and plumb in right here. So we are plumbed and wired. In theory, we can check for leaks. Now I just need to clean up this mess. Shrink wrap, shrink wrap, shrink wrap, shrink wrap, shrink wrap everything. And then plenty of shrink wrap so that we don't get any bad arcs. Let me shrink wrap it and then we can check up front. So this is heat shrink. And I know you see all those people use lighters, but this is a gas tank, so we're just going to use some heat. That's hot! I'm going to put this up. Shrink wrap all this. So when we put the lid on, is the key still on? No. The lid's gonna go like this. See how those wires are gonna hang right there? High vis. That takes care of everything inside the trunk. The cardboard will, well, the wood will fit over the top and hide all that stuff. Oh, I gotta put something on here. So now we're done in the trunk. Did we hook the battery back up? I don't remember. Yeah. So it's attached, but it's not tightened. But it'll function. So let me get all of this. And so remember that little chunk? This is just temporary. Don't get excited. Don't get too upset. Because what we're going to do is check the pressure. I'm sure it's okay. But if you don't check it, you don't know. So we're going to plug. Now you have to be careful. This thing's plastic and, you know, not very expensive at all. But it'll function for what we want. And we're not mounting it permanently. So now all we have to do is turn on the key. Fuel pressure should run up here. I don't have any fuel pressure. I'm at 0. Key on, fuel pump on. When we hit the pressure release on the overflow, it bumps up to 3 pounds. So we're not going to overflow the floats. So this completes the part where the fuel pump is installed. It's 2 lines, hot and ground, and then it just run a loop from the tank through the fuel pump to where we are now. So we're not going to run this permanent. but you can see we're getting pressure. We've got good pressure. It's gonna supply the carburetor as much as we need. So next on the list is we're taking off the fuel. Next on the list is new intake, new carburetor. So some issues we're going to run into when we're swapping out this carb with the new intake is it's going to sit a lot lower. So we're going to have to reuse this base. Otherwise it messes up your linkage. We're going to have to figure out some place to install, or we're going to have to figure out some place to hook up our dipstick, because we're fixing to lose this mount. And there's a water line over here that runs from the heater that used to, you know, all of that other stuff. So we're going to have to drain the coolant down, because when we pull it out, when we pull this off, it's going to drain the head. So I want to get that coolant out of there. That's why I don't want to turn the car on and get everything hot. And then we're taking that mechanical pump off and getting rid of everything else. So y'all take a break and then we'll get back to it.